Hi, I'm Miriam. I am a postdoc at UNIL and I work in the Department of Immunobiology. What I work on is related to metabolism, and everyone in the lab is a different project, but what I work on is nutrient restriction. So how do cells survive when stuff like glucose, glutamine, so very important sugars or amino acids are missing in our diet, or as a result of a pathogenic condition such as cancer or infection.
I'm Elliott. I am also a postdoc in the immunobiology department at the University of Lausanne. I work in a lab that's interested in inflammation and cell death. So how during infections, for example, your cells respond to that infection by undergoing a pro-inflammatory form of cell death to stimulate part of a successful immune response and defense against those pathogens or bacteria. So Miriam and I met here in Lausanne, but I'm originally from the UK, and Miriam studied for her PhD in the UK as well.
I'm from the UK as well.
Yeah. And that's where we both first got involved with Pint of Science. I first came across it as an attendee going to various events during my undergrad. And then both of us during our PhDs were involved in organising various events for Pint of Science in our respective cities. And try and share some of the really cool science that's going on both within the universities here, but also within some of the companies and small startups and spin-offs that have come, for example, from research within the universities, and see whether we could tell the people of Lausanne what's going on in and around their city.
We just email this random email address for Pint of Science Switzerland and say, hey, is there any event happening in Lausanne this year? And she was like, no, but you guys can coordinate the event. So it happened very organically, I would say. And we said, yeah, sure. I mean, we've both been involved with different parts, either recruiting speakers for Elliott or for me organizing an exhibition. So it was actually our first time for both of us being city coordinators. But we managed to find a lot of volunteers that were very interested in organizing the events very quickly. And so we were in touch with the national team, we were in touch with the volunteers in Lausanne, so then it just became a natural position to be in, I would say.
And given that we both had some experience with Pint of Science before, and knew the sort of events and how they worked and how to organise them, we felt that for us it would be great to then share our skills and our knowledge with other volunteers. So most of our volunteers who help us organise the events in Lausanne are PhDs and postdocs from the universities, and to really support them and give them the skills to organise these events, and help them choose topics and things like this that we thought would be interesting to the people of Lausanne. And also for us it was cool to have this sort of different experience and have more of a sort of managerial style role, I guess. I think
general point of view, because not just organizing your own 3 talks in your own pub, but just to see in general what's happening in the city, how different events connect to each other, how does the advertising work, and all of that was a cool new experience for both of us as well, which is why we decided to do it again this year.
Indeed. Scientific outreach and public engagement in science is so important, probably more important now than it ever has been.
Yeah.
There are so many different sources of information out there when it comes to scientific advances and things like this. It can be really hard to keep on top of it, understand it, know what's going on.
So I think in general, I would really encourage people to come. It does not matter if you're an English speaker or French speaker, because we're going to have talks in both languages. And we do encourage people to come and just really try to interact with the speakers, because the idea is that this is not a series of talks only aimed at scientists. It is really for people who live in Lausanne, who are curious about science, but the idea is that the only knowledge of science that will be required is what you've studied in high school. So it's really open to everyone. And usually the speakers that we get are also really nice people that would want to interact with the public, people that are interested in science communication.
Yeah.
And the environment is the one of a pub. It's very relaxed, so there is really no reason not to come to these events.
And I think for me to do it here in Lausanne is especially exciting.
Yeah.
We have the University Hospital, we have two different universities, the University of Lausanne and the EPFL as well. So really lots of science, lots of researchers working in various fields from biology, chemistry, physics, environmental sciences, psychiatry, all of this, and we try and touch on a lot of these topics in the events we organise.
I think it has to be simple. That's the main message. You need to decide what's the main message of your talk, which could just be what kind of question you work on, and then describe that to the audience. If you have images, if you have, even like something interactive, that's great. There's no need to go into the details of your research project. There's no need to show graphs. There's no need to go that much into detail. You need to basically tell people why what you're working on is important. It does not matter how broad then the talk is going to be. What it matters is that people actually do understand why your work is important.